All right. Hello, friends, and welcome to 10 with Jen. I'm Jen O'Sullivan, a board certified naturopathic practitioner, best-selling author of many books on natural health, biblical studies, prayer, and more. My mission is simple: to help you rethink wellness by getting back to the way God designed the body to function. So grab your glass of water, settle in, and let's spend the next 10 minutes together. Okay, before we jump into today's topic, let's check in. Yesterday, we did Mindset Monday, and I challenged you to examine if you are trying to impress anyone with your actions. I asked you to ask a question, right? Who am I trying to impress? And I asked you to be honest. And then I asked you to butt that question up against another question: what has God actually asked me to do today? So I'm curious, did you do it? Did you discover anything that surprised you? Sometimes the hardest beliefs to challenge us are the ones that we've never actually stopped to examine. And that's exactly what today's about, Truth Tuesday. Every Tuesday, we're going to separate truth from tradition. And I'm going to help you and myself and everybody question ideas that have become accepted simply because they've been repeated long enough, right? So today we're tackling one of the biggest ones. Why do most diets fail? Okay, so here's the uncomfortable truth. I don't think that the biggest problem is that you or I lack willpower. I think that we've been sold the idea that health is something you buy instead of something that you build, right? So, like, think about this. Every year, there's another miracle diet, right? If you've lived long enough, you've seen these, right? Low fat, low calorie, counting points, meal replacements, a juice only diet, shakes, detox teas, magic injections that are all the rage now, right? And the list never ends. And think about this: if they actually worked long term, we wouldn't need a new one every 6 months. And so I think of it like it's like how we call what is actually the sick care industry the healthcare industry. And then we think about the fact that this industry banks on the fact that people don't ever truly get better, right? It's like, this is sad, but I don't ever donate to cancer research because they don't actually research. Like, if they found the cure, they would go out of business, all of them. So, we have to think about the nutrition industry and how it has become addicted to novelty because novelty sells, right? Like simplicity and simple doesn't. Real food doesn't sell. You can't patent an apple, right? I mean, I guess you can now. They've been doing it, but real ones. Consistency doesn't sell, and patience doesn't sell. Everybody wants that easy button. So most diets aren't designed to teach you how to eat. They're designed to keep you coming back for the next program. And I really think that most people don't fail diets. Diets fail the people trying to do them. And the question is, like, why? And I think because when I've thought through all the diets I've done, is they're too complicated. They're too restrictive in the wrong places. They're too dependent on special products, right? It gets expensive. And it's really, at the end of the day, too difficult to sustain for the rest of your life. So I always ask this question: if you can't imagine eating this way 5 years from now, then it's probably not the right lifestyle choice for you. It's just another temporary experiment. So over the years, I've watched people and myself bounce from one nutrition philosophy to another. And, 1 month, I remember, for almost a year, I was vegan. And then, I've done ketovore, Mediterranean, counting calories. I've done the programs, the meal replacement, but also like carnivore, right? Which I thought would never be something that would be healthy for you. But again, it took me researching through to understand all of these different meal plans. And we have to remember that the body, when you're doing all these different changes, never really has a chance to find stability, because, like, your brain body connection, your brain is always chasing the next promise. And honestly, like, I've learned that healthy people usually don't obsess over food. Have you noticed that? Like, it's weird. If you meet a really healthy person, they're not like obsessing, and you'll see them eat things where you're like, how do they eat that, right? They really just simplify it. And that's why I've developed my own framework called the Ketovore 24. So this is the book here. It's based on a portion in this book, the Rethink Wellness. So we created a companion book because it is really a good pullout of everything, because it's not another trendy diet. It's basically a simple nutrition philosophy built around eating foods that nourish your body while removing the foods that work against your body, right? So it's like oxalate, lectins, all these things are removed. And I've taken into consideration all of the inflammation diets, right? So when I look at my age group and the people that I work with, it's just a different group of people, and we have different needs. So the 24 stands for 3 simple ideas. There are 24 whole foods that you can eat as much as you want from, right? To some degree, right? There are a few on there that are a little bit higher in the calorie count, and so it just depends, but you'll learn that in the book. And then there's 24 grams or fewer of total carbohydrates each day. I want to say carbs, only 24. And so we get into explaining why that is. And again, this is mostly designed for, most of my people are women in the ages of like 45 to 70 and beyond. And so this is for you, if that is you. If you're a man, I've had plenty of men do this and find great success. So, but again, this is built around kind of our bodies as they change, and things happen that don't make sense as we age, right? So we have to think about also one element, the third element, which is a 24-hour fast every 7 to 14 days, if this is medically appropriate for you. So that's it. There's no points. There's no endless tracking. We do ask you to track a little bit in the beginning, just so that you understand carbohydrates. That's probably the biggest eye opener for most of you, that you're like, oh yeah, eat healthy. And I'm like, well, just for the first week, I want you to track your carb intake, because that's the hidden problem, if you're not a bodybuilder, right? My son and I get on this all the time. We get upset at each other because he's like, oh my gosh, you can't not have that many carbs. And I'm like, no, you're in a different category than your old mother, so a little bit different when your whole body is like 6% body fat or whatever he is. I think he's at 9, and he's, tons of muscle, but that's not me. And I don't think that's you, right? I'm guessing. Okay. So we have to remember that we're also not looking at certain fads in here that are complicated. We're not trying to get you to eat 6 meals a day because someone told you that your metabolism is going to shut down. We have this simple focus. We're prioritizing nutrient-dense animal foods, and we include a small amount of carefully chosen plant foods. We're avoiding sugar and seed oils. We're avoiding processed foods. And we're keeping meals so satisfying that you're no longer thinking about food all day. That is the point. And it's wild, by the way. And the many, many women and men who have done this are a little weirded out at how successful it has become for them. And we do carb cycling. So don't worry. Yes, you can go out and have something every once in a while, right? But you have to track those days. And it's not a major tracking. It's just like an every other or once a week. So again, part of that is it's all written down in here. It's very simple. You can see this is not a long book, and the back end of the book has a full 90-day workbook on page 38. So the book itself only goes through like 55 pages. You even get a little 90-day metabolic reset certificate of completion when you're done. And it just helps you with a lot of things. It gives you a ton of recipes and the why behind all of it. Okay, so here's the thing. I know some people are going to disagree with this approach, and that's okay. My goal isn't to convince everyone. Like, my son is not convinced on this. Maybe when he's 50, he'll be like, where's that book? My goal is to encourage you to think, right? I want you to ask questions. I want you to read research. I put a lot of research into this as well. Look at the incentives behind the headlines that you're reading. Pay attention to how your own body responds, instead of just like blindly following influencers on social media, right? Like, the truth isn't determined by popularity. It's determined by reality. And God designed the body with incredible wisdom. And so when we consistently give it what it needs, guess what? Amazing things often begin to happen. Not overnight, not magically, but faithfully. Okay, so here's today's reset. I want you to identify one nutrition rule that you've always believed. So let me give you a few. Maybe it's I need to eat 6 small meals per day, or I need to only eat 1 meal per day, right? OMAD. Or fat is bad for me, or butter is bad. Eggs are bad for cholesterol, right? Whole grains are essential. Calories are all that matter. Too much salt is bad and causes high, blood pressure. Coffee is healthy for me. Okay, so some of you know me and have, learned all of those are wrong. Okay, but again, these are common things that people have been told or told themselves, right? The book goes over this. Whatever it is, I want you to write it down. Then I want you to ask yourself 4 questions. Oh, and like another one, like fruit is good for me. I mean, there's so many, right? It's like, no. We have to understand the reality of what's going on here. Who told it to you? What is the evidence that supports it? Is there evidence that challenges it? Okay. And what would happen if the opposite were true? Take all those statements and consider, could the opposite be true? I don't want you to fully change your diet today, right? Just because, I just want you to become a better investigator. And truth has nothing to fear from honest questions, right? We've talked about that before. And then tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, before you check your email, before you open social media, I want you again to open your Bible and read one chapter. Ask God to give you wisdom and discernment. Wisdom isn't just about collecting all this information. It's learning to recognize truth when you see it, right? That discernment arm is in there. So thanks for spending these few minutes with me today. And if this episode encouraged you, share it with someone who's tired of chasing the next miracle diet. Tomorrow is Wellness Wednesday. We're going to explore one of my favorite topics. Where does your energy really come from? All right, I'll see you then. Take care and be blessed.